Let me call the meeting to order. First thing, Mr. Smith, Johnny will not be here with us tonight. He's at Vanderbilt with his wife. It looks like everything's going to be okay, but he's going to be up there for a few days, so he will not be with us tonight for tonight's meeting. So everybody else is present. Mr. Rogers, would you do the invocation and pledge forward?
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love. We thank you for all you've done for us. Lord, give us wisdom as we conduct the business of the city. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First thing on the agenda tonight is the reading of the minutes of the previous council meeting, the special call meeting of July 17th, 2014. If the members of council have had an opportunity to review, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Crawford, is that correct? Mr. Gray? Okay.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Crawford. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimous. I would like to welcome a very special group of people out here tonight that have worked very hard all summer long and accomplished something very, very good. And they're champions. And at 6 years old, they're going to be the future of our city, our nation, and we're looking forward to their, and your leadership, Craig, has been tremendous. So they have won a tournament, didn't they?
Yes, sir. They won the last week and a half ago. We won the Rick Honeycutt World Series, hosted right here in Fort Oglethorpe and Catoosa County. They actually had to play 10 games in 5 days, and actually 5 games in 2 days. And I think the final out was made real close to midnight on a Wednesday night, and but they still had enough energy to celebrate, and we had to beat Bradley County twice, and actually there was 2 outs and a play at the plate to decide that win. And we told them all year long and all tournament just to stay positive and battle, and that'll be something that they can always do the rest of their life. And actually, they amazed me. I mean, we were down 6 runs in the last inning and had to score 7 to win the ball game, and that's what they done. They didn't shed nothing. They didn't get upset or nothing. They just kept chugging along, and that's what they are. They're champions. It's been an honor being with them. They're the family. I mean, their parents have become families of ours, and we've had some hard times through the other things. We've had Donnie Brown sitting back there. He was the officer with the dog that got Tanya, that got killed earlier in the spring. We had to deal with that, and the team just rallied together on different things, and it's just great kids, great attitudes. Parents have stuck with everybody through thick and thin, and just a special little group. And Fort Oglethorpe, that's your team. I mean, that's what they are. They're it was just something special. We finished Dizzy Dean district runner-ups, Dixie Youth district champions. We won the LFO preseason tournament, or pre-district tournament, and we won the Ringo. So they had a pretty successful year as 6-year-olds. I don't know if they'll really know what they done yet. Here in a few years, it'll finally sink in. But if you want me to call their names out,
Would you please?
I can do that.
And let me ask y'all a question while he's getting down here. Are y'all tougher than he is? I kind of thought I'd hear a yes.
First of all, they wanted to present y'all with a few little items. Ashton. This gentleman right here.
Thank you, sir.
Just go this way. Take it to that gentleman right there. This is extra large. Take it to that guy. He needs bigger size. One of them two in the middle. You just take it to him. He's wanting to hit the guy.
Thank you.
Gotta stay now.
Just have a seat. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, if y'all seen this, it's the same shirt these young boys are wearing. What was given to them that night, and then we got this is Councilman Smith's one, and that's just something to tell y'all thank you for what y'all do for us all through the year, the different projects y'all have helped out with, and it just goes a long way when volunteers mix in with that. It just goes a long way, and we appreciate it. And the last two things is the big thing. That's what we want. And then Peyton Mullins and Tanner and Dustin. Hold that out so they can see it. And now I'm going to introduce the rest of the Braves. Number 10, Lane Vaughn. Come right up here. Number 17, Brody Hodson. Number 9, Peyton Gross. Number 13, Bryson Oliver. Number 14, Jamison Caldwell Hinton. Number 21, Kyler Boogie Crawford. Number 22, Trey Tyndall. Number 4, Memphis Clark. Number 31, Ashton Brown. And these three standing up here holding this. Number 30, Tanner Wilson. Number 11, Dustin Day. And number 7, Peyton Mullins.
That's what I'm gonna do.
The tall guy in the back.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna stand up for these young men.
All right, my assistant, Miss Keisha Caldwell, she kept me in line all season long. But Dusty Day was one of our coaches. If y'all don't mind standing, David Tyndall in the back, and Corey Vaughn back there. And we had Kyle Hodson that helped out a lot, and like I mentioned, Eddie Holmes. Some of y'all might know that name on the ball field up there on field 3. That's his dad, George. So, but I appreciate all of my parents, and I think they're gearing up for football now. So, thank you, Mayor and Council, for letting us have this.
Thank you. Gentlemen, y'all did an outstanding job, and Mr. Crawford, you did an outstanding job. So, thank y'all very much for being with us tonight. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. So,
You recognize Chris?
Yeah.
You recognize Chris?
Yeah, the best intern.
Bye. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
He's gonna stay with if you don't mind. He might have went outside. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
well, the room cleared out, didn't it? So, Craig, you did a fantastic job. You and your family has been a huge part of recreation in this city
Well,
since before you were born. So, and you got a very special family. You really do.
appreciate it, but we just follow suit of what a lot of the great people come through started up there, like the Honeycutts and different people, and put a lot of time in it, and you yourself and different people. So we just try to continue what's going on, because it's a great thing. Some of your best times are up there.
Well, 30 years from now, they'll look at it as the best years of your life. So anyway, thank you for what you've done. So next item on the agenda, zoning matters, we have nothing. Next item on the agenda, first reading on ordinance 2014-11. Mr. Goulart.
Ordinance number 2014-11, amendment to alcoholic beverage ordinances and amendments thereto. The amendment will be a section to make it align more closely with state law section. That's Division 1, malt beverage, section 6-28. Grounds for denial of license, subsection 1. Section 6-28, grounds for denial of license. The old section is deleted in its entirety. And the new section will read as follows. With grounds for denial will be within a measured 300 feet of any church building or of a state, county, city alcoholic treatment center. The word building as used herein shall mean a structure used at the time of filing the application for license for the purposes of a church or alcoholic treatment building. Additionally, for the purpose of this article, a church is hereby defined as an organization for the purpose of preaching the gospel and other related religious activities located within a permanent structure, either owned or leased by such organization. Said organization must consist of at least 15 adult members on its official rolls that meet on a regular scheduled basis of not less than 30 times per year. Such organization must also qualify under the rules of the Internal Revenue Service as an organization to which contributions may be deducted for federal income tax purposes. That's the first reading.
Thank you, Mr. Goulart. Next item on the agenda, resolutions, we have none. Unfinished business, we have none. Reading of the city clerk of any communications, there is none. Now under new business, proposed approval of the 2014 millage rate. Mr. Goulart.
Sandra Self, the tax commissioner, gave us the new rollback rate for property tax. It's not an increase. The rate I'm asking approval for is, the millage rate would be 6.753.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Rogers, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Gray. Any further discussion? Ms. Stennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, proposed approval of purchase of picnic tables and trash receptacles for the fire damaged park pavilion. Mr. Long. Well, he was ready. He's already up there.
This is for the purchase of the tables there from the fire back last November. The pavilion is up. It's about 95% complete, the new pavilion, and this is to purchase 18. It will be 18 regular picnic tables and then 3 with ADA on the ends where a wheelchair can roll up to it, and then the trash receptacles to put there in the pavilion. The total amount is $13,918, and this is, we've already got a check from the insurance company on this, so this is just going through the audit paperwork and all, but it was paid for by the insurance.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Gray.
Second.
Second by Mr. Crawford. Any further discussion? Ms. Stennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, proposed approval to install electrical in the park pavilion, the same pavilion we just talked about.
This is the same amount, or the same project. We don't have a full, still working on the lights and all, but just going to ask for your approval for that. We'll have the lowest price, but it will be filed within the fire damage for the insurance replacement.
Okay.
on that.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Gray.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rogers. Any further discussion? Ms. Stennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item on the agenda, proposed approval for water repairs for the pool bathhouse and the back bathroom.
Skip.
Did I miss?
It should be it.
No, he's good.
No, you're good. I'm sorry.
This is a request to pay 2 invoices for Waterworks Plumbing Services out of Chattanooga. This was some leaks that had happened there during my absence, and we just got them repaired there after we'll come started on there back in March, working on them. This was where the over at the bathhouse and also the back pavilion, they wasn't winterized, and we had several leaks. Basically had to plumb both buildings. And for the bathhouse, the cost, total cost was $26,212.65, and the back bathrooms is $5,795.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Gray,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. Any further discussion? Ms. Stennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried unanimous. Next item, request to seek bids for the ball field lighting. Mr. Goulart.
What we are asking for is, we're not asking for approval to make an acquisition of the lights. We just want approval for us to go out and get quotes and bids on these particular fields to see what kind of costs we're looking at.
These are the two the lights down next to the elementary school. Is that correct?
That's for all 5 fields.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve seeking bids for this?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Gray,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. Any further discussion? Ms. Stennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried, unanimous. Next item on the agenda, proposed approval to declare city property surplus. Mr. Parker.
Mr. Mayor, these two vehicles, the 2008 Crown Vic failed to get it on the last list. The 2000 Ford is a fire department vehicle that they've requested to take off service. They actually got one of the vehicles that we had previously pulled off the police line, and they're going to use it.
Is there a motion to approve those and declare them surplus?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Stennett. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Crawford. Any further discussion? Ms. Stennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried, unanimous. Next item on the agenda, proposed approval for interview of the Chattanooga-Chickamauga Military Park Superintendent Brad Bennett by Councilman Paula Stennett.
Number 7.
That is it. That's what I'm talking about.
Number 7.
His agenda's incorrect. We've got a different agenda than we do.
The agenda's changed since I picked this copy up. So, any case,
We'll share.
the next item on the agenda, proposed approval to purchase water meters. Mr. Parker.
This is a request to purchase 150 Neptune data logger meters. This purchase will allow us to finish the change out in Flagstone subdivision and also change out all the meters on Dolores Drive to the data logger radio read meters. The purchase will be a cost of $27,450.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Gray,
Second.
second by Mr. Rogers. Any further discussion? Ms. Stennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried, unanimous.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, proposed approval of cyber coverage insurance. Mr. Goulart?
We currently are insured with Travelers Insurance on our liability, and based on discussions with the company, we do not have any coverage for a breach of our sensitive information if someone were to hack our computers and retrieve that sensitive information, or if an employee inadvertently released confidential records pursuant to an open records request. There's no coverage. They offer this cyber coverage policy, which is basically a new product in the industry. I would recommend that we secure this coverage, and I'm asking for approval in the amount of $4,984 for an annual policy through Travelers Insurance Company. It'll be treated as a rider on our current policy.
Is there a motion to approve this coverage?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Rogers,
Second.
second by Ms. Stennett. Any further discussion? Ms. Stennett?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried, unanimous. Next item on the agenda, proposed approval for interviews. Mr. Goulart?
Okay, if I may, I would defer to Council Lady Stennett and ask her to explain to you what filming she desires to do.
Okay, Ms. Stennett.
Gentlemen, pursuant to the agreement that we established back a couple of meetings ago, prior to doing any interviews which would appear on FortOakGov.com or on Channel 3, we would receive an agreement that everyone concurred to do the interviews. The Chattanooga-Chickamauga Military Park Superintendent Brad Bennett will be telling about his taking over the park and all the new features there in the park. Patrice Glass, who is the director of Friends of the Park. Step to Step Services, this is a veterans organization service, and they will be building a home for a young man who lost his legs, and it will be here in Catoosa County. And to continue with the Those Who Served series, which features World War II veterans and an update on veterans' activities on a monthly basis. So I'd like to ask gentlemen for your approval to continuation.
Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Crawford.
Second.
Second by Mr.
Yeah.
Rogers. Any further discussion? Ms. Denny?
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda, City Manager's Report. Mr. Goulart.
I do not have anything new to report to you at this time.
That's a quiet night.
No news is good news.
That's the truth. Next item on the agenda, City Council comments and business. Ms. Denny.
So, as we know, citizens of Fort Oglethorpe, and how we all stand together, and we do join hands when supporting one of our own, the celebration for Jan and Steve Blevins totaled $9,223.47, raised to help the family. The bike ride made over $3,800, with the rest of it coming from Spirit Night, and definitely going to support one of our own who deserves the support that he has given to us for so many years. Habitat for Humanity. We're going to be having hard hats to high heels. That's September 20th at the Colonnade. Gentlemen, here's your opportunity to don your red hard hat and join our own Mr. Earl Grey, who will have his red hard hat on that evening serving. Tickets are $75 each, and of course go to wonderful cause, and Habitat will be building a home for a veteran who's returning, of course, and making the dream of having home ownership for that person come to reality. I'd like to ask everybody to keep an eye on Fort Oglethorpe Clean and Green campaign at fortogov.com, and check for announcements on recycling and interviews on that channel. Some parents came to me with school beginning and asked about bullying, and I told them I would do some research on bullying in schools and workplace bullying, and did so to learn that they're asking was, how can we stop bullying there? And what my research came to conclusion is by demonstrating integrity. And this integrity begins not just with the children, but in the homes. Integrity is doing what's right, even when those around you are doing what's wrong, and standing up for that right, even when it may not be the popular thing to do. So my suggestion to these parents is that we as adults demonstrate to the children that integrity so that the children may follow. I interviewed people from 2 police departments here in our city and in a neighboring city who said bullying was one of the major reasons that they had to go and solve conflicts. So if we could do so by demonstrating integrity, we could end a lot of what our police department has to deal with. And that would be my suggestion, is that we use integrity to be able to stand up against bullies without conflict, without fighting. Hearing aids, eyeglasses, and cell phones are being collected for the Georgia Lions Lighthouse Foundation. If you have any of those items, please feel free to drop them off here, and we will be giving them to the Lions Club. Gentlemen, that concludes Council Lady comments.
Thank you, Ms. Stinnett. Mr. Gray.
I'd like to just say thanks to the Recreation Association again. I had an opportunity to go up there and didn't have to go to work this time. They had enough volunteers that didn't have to work this time. And would like to thank Mr. Rogers for the study that he did. I have taken that thing around and showed it to some of these businesses, and it's really unbelievable what those 2 tournaments brought to this town. It's amazing. It's just amazing. And you know, hopefully next year we can do it a little bit bigger. I think Jack Maddox will be ready next year, hopefully. So, you know, we might kick that thing up to $1 million on that spreadsheet of yours and make everybody happy. But just want to thank everybody, that all the volunteers, everybody had anything to do with it at all. It was a huge success, and we appreciate your hard work. That's all.
Anything? Mr. Crawford?
Well, mine was kind of covered with yours today, but I'd just like to commend Council Lady Stennett for her hard work with helping out with the Blevins family, and I see Lieutenant Blevins back there tonight, and we're still thinking about you and praying for you. I wasn't able to attend, but due to prior engagements, but I heard it was a great event, and there was and that thumbs up to you on that. That's great, and I'd mention you on the tournament if all possible. Just thank the Honeycutt family. I know Rick's down there trying to beat our beloved Braves this week, but hopefully he's not happy about that. But he's been very gracious to our community and the family. I know Mr. Honeycutt Wayne, he was up there at the tournament a couple of days, just driving around in his Dodger gear and shaking hands, and you know, it's great to have families like that we can give back to give them a little bit of feel good that they're doing good for our community. And but if, like he said, it wouldn't be for all the volunteers. I know we have one back there that's still, I don't know if she's still scratching from all the stuff. She decided she wanted to, Miss McKeever, who I'm talking about, she decided she wanted to clean up the fence row, and the poison ivy got the best of her. So, but we appreciate that. That's the gift that gives all year long, isn't it? But that's it. Thank you.
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I'd like to say a word about the Rick Honeycutt World Series. It was awesome. Echo everything that Earl said there. And also, this year we had the opportunity to partner with Rounding Third Ministries, and it was really neat. They had Brian Doyle, who's a former New York Yankee player, won the World Series with the Yankees. He came out and spoke at the opening ceremonies at each one of the age groups, and then we also had services at the fields on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock at each field, and it was neat. We got a lot of positive feedback from that. So I'd like to thank Rounding Third Ministries for partnering with us this year and helping us make the tournament even better.
Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Next item on the agenda, citizens' petitions and requests. Ms. McKeever.
I'm Chris McKeever, Director of the 6th Calvary Museum, and I wanted to come on behalf of the museum, the volunteers, and the veterans, and thank you for signing and giving us our new lease, which has a lot of good things in there. As I was watching the July 17th meeting, it was shown on UCTV3, as I was watching it, I was concerned that the lease for the museum is being discussed with the cricket pitch and lawsuits and things that really don't go together. And so I just wanted to come and have it publicly stated that the cricket pitch has nothing to do with the museum. Our volunteers or veterans, we had nothing to do with the cricket pitch. The lawsuit that ensued, once again, the museum had nothing to do with. And so we wanted to make that clear. I also wanted to just point out that the special events that are done on the polo field, we ask for permission from Mr. Goulart every year. We send a memo, we give our dates, and we ask for permission to hold our events. And that way they're, if approved, they're put on the calendar. And the museum will have calls from people call and ask, can I go relic hunt on the polo field? Can I have my wedding at the bandstand? And any requests like that, that's nothing that the museum can give permission for. And so those calls all go back to Carol and Mr. Goulart to make the decision on. And so the 3 events that we did ask for this year, of course, was Patriotism at the Post, which it did not rain, it was beautiful, biggest crowd ever, wonderful fireworks, great concert. Remembering Our Heroes, that'll be the 5th annual for the museum. That will be October 24th, which is the school day program. And again, October 25th is a public program. And then this will be the 8th year that the Chickamauga Battlefield Marathon will be held from the polo field. And for those who aren't familiar with that, they used to run that from Oakwood Baptist Church in Chickamauga. And when the bypass got done, those 1,500 runners had to run across the highway to get to the battlefield. And so the first year that we were asked to be involved, I volunteered. And they asked me to stand out there with the Walker County Sheriff's deputy. And it was a frightening sight to see the cars just zipping by and all of these runners trying to get back and forth. And so we were very happy to be able to bring it into the city. So we take the events that we do on the polo field very seriously. We realize the historic integrity in the National Register that the polo field is on, and we take very good care of it. So I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person, Mr. Reed.
I think everybody knows me by now. I'm Larry Reed. I spoke to the city manager on Friday on this. When I got on the agenda, I was not aware of the increase that was voted on by the council. I don't know when that got voted on. I missed a couple of meetings, but my first notice of it is when I got the water bill, and I keep it on a spreadsheet just to keep up my own track record of what's going on, and my numbers didn't match up with what the water bill was. So I called the water department, and she said, "You didn't get the notice of increase." I said, "No, I didn't." So she emailed me a copy of it, and once I got the new rates plugged it in, everything matched up. But my concern, and I spoke to the city manager, and I understand y'all buy the water from Chattanooga, Tennessee Water, and the sewer from the city of Chattanooga, so it's really not something that's controlled by the city. But traditionally, and I don't know how far back this goes, I know back 3 or 4 years now, the water increase rate is always done the first of the year. Well, I budgeted for this year based on the January 1, 14 rate. 6 months later, there's another increase, which is like 9% increase. Makes it tough to run a business when you can't predict what's going to happen 6 months down the road. So when did it get voted on? That's the question I got to ask. It's already been approved, effective July 1. So what meeting did I miss where that was voted on? Not that I've been able to change anything, but.
Mr. Goulart, could you answer that question for him?
Let's see. I believe it was the special. We had a special meeting because we didn't have a quorum once before, so we had a
7th
special.
of July?
Yeah.
I was on the way to Texas to visit my mom, so
Yes,
I understandably missed that meeting. So, is there anything that can be done about it? I don't know. 6 months intervals increasing, it's a little bit tough to absorb. So,
And one thing that did happen, the problem we have now is that Tennessee American Water also, they used to do our billing and all of this was combined, but now they've divorced themselves from the city of Chattanooga and all the regional users, so we've got to deal with those two entities independently. And after giving us the notice, we got a adjustment from the city of Chattanooga last week or week before last, I believe.
you were telling me that on Friday.
$14,000 more, but we will absorb that and we will deal with that next year, and we're hoping that this $14,000 increase will not increase again next year. So we will eat that.
what is the timing for future increases? Is it January 1 or is it July 1, or can you tell me?
No, sir, I can't, because it's just periodic with Tennessee American, because they have to go before the Tennessee Regulatory Agency to get approval, and they've not always given them approval for rate increases, but it seems in the past couple of years, they've gotten what they wanted.
Okay.
So fortunately, not what they want, but they do get the increases.
Well, that was my whole discussion. Ron explained it to me on Friday, and I understand again, they got the gun held at your head. You can't control the rates. You buy from them, so they're a mercy. But I was just trying to figure out, you know, what's the timing in the future so that I don't get blindsided again. But I did miss that meeting, so.
Yes, sir. Typically, there's probably going to be 2 separate increases. We can perhaps wait until we get the second one and do it all at one time. May be able to do that.
Well, we absorbed the water bill for 70 units in our apartment complex. Phase 1, I think, charges for part of it, if not all of them, for water, and they're probably making money off of the water bill, which I don't know if legally they can do that or not, but I'm not going to get into that. That's a problem. Their problem, because tenants would have to file an action about it, because I know what they're charging versus what their part of the bill is, and they're making money off of it. I may have to consider changing mine to start charging at least part of it. So, and we got a lot of elderly tenants down there that have been very good to keep, but you know, they can only absorb so much, and I can too. So we'll have to make a business decision on it. So, all right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Reed. Mr. Stoltz, do we have anything for executive session?
No, sir.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Crawford,
Second.
second by Ms. Dennett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.